What's up,
Oh,
brothers?
hello there.
Oh, this is about to be fucking horrid. Anyways,
Yes,
let's. Uh, hello there. Welcome to our first amazing podcast thing of car crafts. My name is Adrian,
my name is Igor.
and yeah, this first episode will be dedicated to exploring the car culture, technology, and overall community of
How it all began.
yes, exactly. Yeah, will be based on 5 episodes. Each episode will be around 10 minutes long. We'll be going through first episode will be car culture history, then we're gonna go down to engine swaps and
Engine
rebuilds.
sports. This one will be about dyno tuning, called tuning in. Fourth will be fresh code, where we explore painting, body kits, car wraps, and liveries. And the final project builds, where we explore some of the most popular project builds and anything else that we can find.
Let's start things off by talking about where we got our interest in cars, where our interest peaked, began, and what current state we're in at this amazing interest of ours.
Yes,
You want to
shall I
begin?
start?
Sure, go ahead.
Right. So for me, it began when I was very little. I was watching the Cars Disney movie on a repeat.
Yeah.
So when the second one came out, I was thrilled. I got the game on Xbox. I watched the Fast and Furious movies, and later after that, my grandpa took me to a car show in Germany, and that pretty much solidified the interest for me. And when I met Adrian, well, Matt, we became closer friends. It just skyrocketed that interest.
For me, it began as far as I can remember. I remember those car games used to play exactly as you mentioned, even at your house.
Yes.
And then it just evolved. It kind of like progressed through oh yeah, the movies, Fast and Furious movies, and just overall car related movies. Fast and Furious movie really spiked for me. I remember this one Christmas. I don't know when exactly, but I remember every day when I was getting like in a sock or like school, I used to always get every movie one by one, and I would just watch them over Christmas. And yeah, and then where it peaked, I would say when I got my first car. After I got my
Yes.
first car, I was like, oh shit, let me just start doing random stuff to it, like tune it, blah blah, change my tires, change brake colors, blah blah, all that, and it just kind of peaked from there. And also, like Igor mentioned, as soon as we started hanging out more, the interest just went up, and yeah, I would say that's pretty much it. Yeah, so
Yeah, I'd say for most people, it's similar.
yeah, exactly. I mean, it could also be a lot of family. Like a lot of people
Yeah,
just grow up with their dads. If their dads are a car mechanic thing, so can go
yeah,
from there.
yeah, that can also be a thing.
Well, continuing our amazing segments, let's talk about now the beginning of the car culture, where cars began, like
Yes.
which was in the late 1800s.
Two people laid the groundwork for the modern cars that we see today. And by the early 20th century, Henry Ford revolutionized the industry with a Model T and assembly line, producing cars, there we go, which made things more affordable and changing society or societal structures. So after that, people could live farther from like work or just go on a Sunday drive. Over time, cars began to reflect people's style or status, depending on how expensive the vehicle was, I'm guessing, and their freedom, obviously.
Give me a second, I'm chewing food.
Oh my god.
Yes, exactly what he said. I agree with every topic, every word of what he said. Now we can talk about where cars became more common and started reflecting people's dreams and lifestyles over the decades. Basically, during around the 1950s or the 60s, um, way different cars started being produced. Like you have muscle cars, you have yeah, around more muscle car on the American side. Like you had the Ford Mustangs, Chevrolet Camaros, Dodges. I'm not remember sure if Dodges were around that time, but they started becoming way more iconic in American culture and even are today. And I think that's where a lot of people started getting more interest in cars because the way the cars were evolving around that time and the way the engines were and what they could do.
Yeah.
So meanwhile, European and Japanese cars were way different. They focused on like design and technological innovations, aka like so
Improving.
yeah, improving. Like Americans had more muscle, European was more like more
Mm,
sportier. So you had
yes.
like it's more common for Americans to use superchargers for European and Japanese more for turbochargers around like something like that. But
Yes.
Europeans also cars made their cars more luxury and wider performance, while Japanese cars were more prioritizing efficiency and reliability.
Yes. Essentially, Americans were going up in engine size while Japanese were going down in engine size.
Yeah, so basically, Japanese were and European was focusing more on luxury and reliability, all that. American was like, we need more power, give, bless,
Go
more,
faster, yes.
yeah, more power equals more fun. Well, which is not wrong, but everything has their ups and downs. Let's now talk about how cars could express the way you are.
So modifying cars has a way of showing like who you are. So let's say you see a build on you see a car on I don't know, a wall someone's wallpaper or in a movie, and you really want to make it your own. So you get the car, you start modifying it, but you change it up a little, make it your own. It reflects who you are, and people can see that from the outside.
And also your vision on how you look at cars. Everyone has a
Yes,
different
exactly.
vision on how cars are and what they like and what they want to do with them.
People will look at different types of cars like Japanese or American, German, and will want to express themselves with them. Like, for example, I'm more of a fan of Japanese cars. They might be more of a fan of German and Japanese. Some people might be more of a fan of American. It all depends on how you want to express yourselves
Also, a fun
for that
fact
segment.
talking about the muscle and Japanese. Down this journey, we'll talk about where people take those two and mix them together. People
Oh,
just,
yes.
people just, people get so creative when it comes to car building. They literally just like, they take something that doesn't make sense and something that doesn't make sense, put
And they
together
make it work.
and make it sense. It's just like, it's mind blowing what people can actually do with cars and how much time and effort and how sick cars can actually look. And yes, there are some pros to cons of doing them, especially when it comes to money. That's why we
Yeah.
gamble our houses, we throw everything on red, we win our money, we build cars. It's as easy as that. We also have two kidneys, sparing
One of
one.
them is an investment.
Exactly, it's a long-term investment. Actually, it depends. Also, through the now modern times, people are not a fan of the electricity cars, aka what and just how cars are now. Like back in the
Yeah.
time, engine used to be way bigger, more simpler, way more fun, more to do with them. Now it's all like hybrid engines, small engines,
Cars
electric.
being discontinued.
Yeah, exactly. Now we have shitty looking cars. Like, do you have any cars that just kind of fell off? Like carbon brands that kind of like fell off over the years? I feel
I
like
mean, yeah,
I think
Mitsubishi for one.
yeah, I would also say the Forester.
The Subaru.
Yeah, Subaru Forester. It looks so good. It has those pretty good looks. Now they look like your average SUVs.
Yeah,
It's like,
and especially since well, Mitsubishi doesn't even make sports car anymore, so they make only SUVs. Uh, Same, I think, with Subaru.
yeah, I don't
Well,
know.
at least the WRX was discontinued.
Yeah.
So yeah, many of those instances where people, well, car brands took the cars that people loved and just stopped making them.
Yeah. That's why a lot of people are now holding those like rare cars in their garages and don't touch them. They just leave them there because the value on them goes so up. Because
Yes.
no one's selling them and you barely see them on the road these days.
Yeah.
But I think that concludes for this episode. We giving a small recap that this episode is just the beginning. We just wanted to brief explanation of what the rest of episodes will be going based on and
Yes.
what will be talked about in there. This episode is more just introducing ourselves, talking about the car culture, kind of dynamics of how cars are, and where they're from, and how they work.
So what we went over was each episode.
Talked about our interest in cars, where the car
Yes,
culture
how
began.
exactly. Uh, how American muscle got introduced in the 1950s, European and Japanese market, how people express themselves, and of course how technology and how technology improved and how the car market is at this current state.
So again,
Yes,
thanks for this episode.
yes, thank you for listening.
I have been your co-host Adrian,
I've been your co-host Igor,
and thanks
and
for
this is
us.
us out.
Hello.